Today I am going to present to you the second game of the pre-remastered WillRin home, Garten of WillRin. Also this second game came out. So let's just get started. To begin, the idea of Garten of WillRin began when after Philly, that is technically I, got motivated after the creation and publication of the POW Sector, another Garten of Banban fan game that you can find on my channel, but oh well. For that motivation, in just one day the game was finished. From July 16th to 17. So, in fact, here is the oldest drawing that I found from Garten of WillRin. I think I did it at the beginning of July 2024, and at that time I was not planning to add Giga. Say, Plava. Yes, before it was called Giga. The truth is I prefer the name Giga, because Plava sounds very strange, and the models of the characters, they are not made in Blender. They are made in Roblox itself. I don't have much to say anymore. Now let's get to the plate strong. Garten of WillRin 2 began development a day after the publication of the first one. Its development for a time was very active but was abandoned at the beginning of August, due to the demotivation that appeared suddenly, and in addition to having the burden by Termianra Horrors at Bert, Part 3. I'm going to highlight a few things about this game. After that I'm going to show the gameplay of it, what I did with the game and the OST, which are only 2 songs. Let's start with the mural. As you can see, some are recognizable and others even changed their names. Let's start with WillRin, who is Keisha in WillRin home. I no longer remember what his role was going to be, or if he was going to be in Garten of WillRin 2 or 3. His 3D model was never made. Now with WillRinilla, who has 2 small horns on the left side of his head, 4 small horns on his back. He does not have the bow on his head, and his purple bow that in his model 3D is black, and you have 2 normal arms, and not like in his version of WillRin home, where he only had 1 arm and 2 fingers as arms. This one does have 3D model, as I already said. She was going to help us, but then she would betray us and try to kill us almost at the end of what I did. Now with Carol, who would be Beak, who even changed his gender. Since, before he was a man and his version of WillRin home is a woman. His appearance does not change, except that his beak arm in WillRin home is replaced by a crane arm, and his hair is no longer elongated. This one does have a 3D model, and is this. He would be an enemy in a specific area of the game. Now with Flaz, which is Sid, he had the most differences with his version of WillRin home. Instead of being a cephalopod, this is a fish with 2 tentacles and with the same colors as his version of WillRin home. This one does have a 3D model and was already made from the first Garten of WillRin. This, like its version of WillRin home, would not appear until Garten of WillRin 3, but that game will never exist. Now with Nerliwa. That her only change is that her left leg is not red and that she is missing her black bow. This would act the same as the Nerliwa that we all know. Its 3D model was made and it would attack just like Nadnab, having a long tongue and not like his version of WillRin home that runs the same as most. Finally with Lewis, who I don't even remember if he had another name in Garten of WillRin 2, but it doesn't matter. This one almost doesn't even change, and only his torso it is circular and not square like in its WillRin home version. It had green pupils and it followed you with its gaze. His role was like that of Lewis in WillRin home 2, just seeing you. Now finishing with this part, this game was going to introduce a drone to solve puzzles with buttons, and that. Although the drone seems to be somewhat buggy, because if you get very close to a wall and select the drone, it can go through it and see the entire map from the outside. But that doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to show the gameplay its OST later. Let's go there.